and welcome to an AVForums short video overview of the WiiM Vibelink Amplifier. My name is Ed Selley, I'm the Hi-Fi editor for AVForums. The Vibelink, what is it? Well, it's this. It is designed to partner the Ultra streamer that we've already looked at, we already have a YouTube video for. Because it's designed to partner a streamer, it is different in concept and execution to the amplifiers that we've looked at before from WiiM, the imaginatively named Amp and Amp Pro. The reason for that is that because it's designed to partner with a streamer, it has no onboard streaming of its own. But you do get certain things that the existing amplifiers don't have. It has more power, 100 watts into 8 ohms, which doubles into 4. Which is a pleasantly audiophile trait, quite unusual at this price point. And this amplifier uses some of the same technology that we saw in the Amp Pro. It's an exceptional piece of amplification for the asking price, which is 320 quid. This is combined with a single analog input, and then, because this is WiiM and they enjoy a bit of digital, there is a complete ESS DAC in here, which is made available to a optical and coaxial input with a sample rate handling of 24192 to both of them. I've got to be honest, this is a bit of an oddball product because it doesn't quite know what it wants to be. If you were looking for the most straightforward partner to a WiiM Ultra streamer, you'd be looking at a power amplifier. The Ultra, as we covered in that video, does an incredible variety of things. As well as being a streamer, it's got analog and digital inputs. It's got a phono stage, for heaven's sake. It's got HDMI ARC. So all it would need is power. But the Vibelink does more than that. So it's got this volume control, but there's no remote control for this volume. The argument would be if you're using it with an Ultra, you just sort of set it to an arbitrary high value and then volume is controlled on the streamer, and that works perfectly well. But it's still there. You've still had to pay for it. But then as an integrated amplifier without a remote control, it's got some limitations. I can just about understand with certain sources that you go in via the analog input that isn't going to be the end of the world. But if, for example, you were using this with a television over optical, every streaming service has a different baseline volume. And then the content that they produce, whether it's their own content or imported from another organisation, it generally speaking happens at lots and lots of different volumes. You're going to be up and down like a yo-yo adjusting the volume for those things. So it's a little bit too complicated to be a truly straightforward power amplifier. And at the same time, it's a little bit too simple to be an integrated amplifier. And in the time it's been here, I haven't really been able to reconcile quite who it's aiming for, because it works beautifully with the WiiM Ultra. I don't actually have an Ultra here for testing, but there's various other streamers that can perform that task. And if you hand them the roles and responsibility of doing volume control, it works a charm. And this amplifier is exceptionally good. There's a written review on the site that accompanies this, and bluntly speaking, for £320, you cannot buy better sound quality than this. Habitually, when I'm given a product of this sort of price to test, I will wheel out a pair of Q Acoustics 5020 stand mount loudspeakers. They're £600. They're exceptionally good, and they are an absolute benchmark of what a speaker at that price point should be. It goes without saying that this thing drove them absolutely superbly. So you think, okay, that's fair enough. So I dug out a pair of Neat Petite Classics, which I adore. They're here as resident test equipment, £2,000. Still sounded extremely good. Is it the best I've ever heard the Neats sound? No, but that's as much a reflection. I've connected some very special things to the Neats over the years. The performance that resulted from the combination was still tremendously enjoyable. And then I thought, well, to hell with it. And I connected a £320, let's not forget, £320 amplifier to the resident pair of Kudos Titan 505 loudspeakers. Yours, I think, in today's money at about 9,700 quid. Again, was it the best I've ever heard the Kudos sound? No. Did it sound more than unreasonably good considering the price and balance of the units? Yeah, it sounded really very good indeed. So there's a huge amount of potential performance here, but I'm not 100% sure that it's been executed in a way that genuinely gets the best out of it. This has been thrown into sharp relief because at the same time that the WiiM turned up, so did this. This is a Cambridge Audio MXW70. Now, it is more expensive than the WiiM, and it's more expensive than I thought it was going to be. When I initially started talking to people about this. I understood it to be in the region of £400, so an £80 increase. Actually, it's £500, so it's a £180 increase, and that is quite a significant difference. And let's be clear about this. This does less. You will find one control, and that is an on-off button. And I have to be honest, that works slightly erratically. On this sample, at least, you plug it in and the button lights up. You turn it on, the button doesn't really change. It makes a thunk noise, but there's no significant difference to what goes on. You turn the power out and it flashes for a disconcertingly long time as well. So it's a bit quirky, and it is more expensive than the WiiM. However, at the back, you will find that it is just a power amplifier. And not only is it just a power amplifier, because of that streamlining of functionality, you have both balanced and unbalanced connections, which broadens the use of this quite a bit. And we'll jog round back to that in a bit. Power is down on what WiiM is offering. This is an N-Core Hypex based product. Cambridge Audio is at great pains to stress that it's not simply a module in the box. They tweak the output stage, they do all sorts of things. You sort of have to take their word for it. I could have taken the lid off, I could have peered intently at the inside and sort of ruminated on it, but bluntly speaking, I'm not in a position to check it against anything else that uses the same module. So it's an article of faith that that's what they've done. Nevertheless, it's 30 watts down on the WiiM. You can have quite a lot more power though. On the back, you will find a switch that bridges, that is to say, sums the channels into mono, and power jumps from 70 to a rather more vigorous 250 watts in mono. So two of these are going to drive most things without complaining, and there's a further twist to that we'll come to as well. It's very hard to shake that, notwithstanding the price difference between this and this is the superior device for a WiiM Ultra user, because you've got all the functionality that you want on the Ultra. You've got a preamp, you've got the analog and digital inputs, you've got HDMI ARC. You just want amplification. This is just an amplifier. And this straightforward approach means that it does work with an awful lot of things in potential. Now, Cambridge Audio, I should say, it's not just Cambridge, view this as a partner for the MXN10 streamer and the DAC 200M, which are the same form factor. They come in the same weird grey finish. And needless to say, it works extremely well with both of them. Neither of them is a perfect partner, and there's some weird parallels to the Vibelink here, because the MXN10 sounds brilliant. It has a lovely control app. It's a really excellent, affordable streamer, but it doesn't have any additional inputs. So essentially you just have a one function hi-fi system if you combine the two units. The DAC Magic has got plenty of inputs, and it's got a physical volume control, and it's got balanced outputs, but it doesn't have a remote control, which again leaves you, going back up to adjust things on the fly. So in some ways, WiiM's built the perfect partner for this, whilst at the same time building that. So it feels like there's a little bit of refinement on both companies. There's something else though, and this is important. It's subjective, but it's important. This is a peerless amplifier. It really is. I stand by every single statement I've just made about it. I prefer this one. It's a warmer, it's a more refined sound. I found it slightly more tonally believable. It has the same scope to drive the same speakers I was talking about using with the WiiM. I've tested with the Cambridge Audio as well. I've thoroughly enjoyed the performance with both. There's also a caveat about that power output. This does not have as much power as that. However, these inputs, both balanced and unbalanced, are more sensitive. So there have been points using the same pieces of source equipment where I've had more gain from the 70 watt amplifier than I've had from the 100 watt one. Quite why the gain on the WiiM is a little bit limited is unclear to me, but this has volcanic levels of gain. So if you combine it with products that have a lot of output, and amongst other things, the Blue Sound Node Icon has been used with both of these devices, as has a Chord Hugo 2, both of which will swing around 3 volts at maximum output. So they're very, very grunty. That goes an enormously long way into a product like this. So there's nothing really to call in headroom terms, provided that you've chosen the partner equipment with any choice. And ignoring, and it is a big ignore, and I'm aware of that, ignoring the £180 price difference, I just prefer how the Cambridge Audio sounds. It's possibly not the perfect partner for an MXN10 or even a DAC Magic 100, but it's a perfect partner for products from WiiM, from Blue Sound, even Ever Solo, even the larger Cambridge Audio streamers, which are slightly more flexible in what they do. It feels like the right product at the right time. It feels like a niche being exploited very effectively. And I think, and rather hope, that Cambridge Audio is going to do extremely well with it. Would I buy the Vibelink as it stands? No. I think it's a phenomenal sounding product, but it's a little bit too confused in what it is and how it does it. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that based on WiiM's track record, they're going to solve that sooner rather than later, because that is what they do. But at the moment, if you're looking for a partner for your Ultra, it's this that is the more superior offering. If you've enjoyed this high-speed run through these products, thank you very much, appreciate it. As stated, there are written reviews on the site that cover slightly different areas of this. I still prefer writing to blurting out in front of the camera. My phone goes off less. All sorts of aspects of professionalism that, you know, other people seem to manage and I'm still struggling with. Nevertheless, if you've enjoyed this, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more content. In the meantime, I'm going to try and unstick this t-shirt from my increasingly sweaty frame, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.